Men don't like talking about their feelings and they don't like admitting that they're weak or that they need help, but mental illness doesn't discriminate. And all three of us have suffered in our own ways.
We think we're staunch, we think we can fix everything and handle anything, but we can't. At some point, no matter how tough you are, how strong you think you are, it's gonna get you.
We don't know how to have a conversation, because that's what I see as half the problem. If everyone's able to be honest, say when they're a bit vulnerable, say when they're hurting, say when they're sad, yeah, the face of Aotearoa will be totally different to what it is.
Kia ora. Ko Matetu mihinui tēnei. Known them since we were at Kohanga, then through to primary school, high school, and then kept in touch, you know, stayed close throughout all the years.
Donald Trump, Whakarewarewa Clark.
Slash Hulk.
Slash the Hulk. Known him all my life. We've done everything together. Just the mental health stuff, you know. So I was the first one that got a bit way out there. And I thought that'll be it. And then when this fella started having his troubles and that, I suppose that's when it sort of, well, I felt a bit of a responsibility to sort of help and awhi and all that sort of thing.
For a lot of men, you know, a lot of Māori, it's the hardest thing to do is to ask for help when you're, you know, in a dark place or depressed and wondering when you're trying to make sense of things, and just having that, you know, that person that's in their field of expertise, I guess, you know, I could trust them.
I'm a father of 6, most of the time wonderful children. I'm married to my wife, Courtney Mihinui. I'm from Rotorua. This wharenui is Wāhiao. My tupuna whare. My iwi is Tuarangi Ngāti Wāhiao. And I was born and bred here in Whakarewarewa village. I suppose I was a cheeky little fella. Inquisitive. Always asked how come and why. Being in a small community, everyone sort of looks after everyone. My aunties and uncles and that are just like parents at home. You know, if I look back at it, I'm probably a little bit unparented, I suppose. I never knew my father. I remember asking my mum one time when I was young. She said something and it was like Donald Duck or something like that. You know, telling a little kid, and I wasn't stupid. And when she lied to me, that sort of, our relationship wasn't always the best then. As that sort of inquisitive mind left to run rampant, yeah, I started doing things and trying things.
People would say I was mischief, no ears, but I don't remember that. I remember being Superman, Batman, all in one. My culture is really important to me. My whānau are even more important. And I was brought up with my nan, and you know, she would talk to me, she would teach me. My nan was really into her culture and her reo. My parents are separated, there's still a close relationship. My whole family, we're really close. In all honesty, you know, I've only opened up to maybe 1 or 2 people. My mum's one and Mata's the other. Having a relationship after 10 years and when kids are involved come to an abrupt end and with no understanding or no reasoning, and you're given so much commitment to trying to better a stable future for your kids, and they just come to an abrupt end. It hurt. That's enough in itself to make someone lose their mind.
I think like experimenting. I started to use cannabis like that. It was a daily thing. Drinking till the sun comes up the next day. Quite often during the week too, not just like on the weekends and that. Eventually I became spiritually bankrupt. Had nothing left. I started to think about what would the world be like without me, and I was 15. How it sort of started from there. By the time I turned 17, I was paranoid about things. And I ended up in Middlemore Hospital. When I came to, I think it was about a Tuesday or Wednesday, and talking to the doctor, he asked where I was, and I didn't know where I was. And the rooms were different. I thought I might have been in a psychiatric ward by this time. Stayed clean for about a week or two and started using again. Was unwell, was sick at the time, and my mind was getting worse, but I couldn't sleep, and I ended up staying awake for 5 days. On the 5th day, I was probably the sickest I'd ever been. Absolutely paranoid. And then I started thinking of ways on how I might kill myself.
Where I fell over, might have stuffed things right up, was when I would have come across as a threat to my ex-partner, and she felt threatened that she had to get the police involved. I needed to be heard. Had some police officers go to her job, make sure she's safe, take her away, because they were scared that I might have done, well, they thought I was capable of maybe physically harming her, which I wasn't. I'd never do anything to hurt anyone. Then I was hit with a protection order against her. Then I was hit with a parenting order, which meant that I couldn't see my kids. And that's when everything changed for me, where as soon as the kids got involved, I haven't really talked about it, to anyone else. Not being able to see my kids, which was the case then, with all the orders served against me, and that's when I lost it. That's when I went all suicidal, and I attempted more than once. I ended up ringing my ex and saying goodbye, and she found me, rang an ambulance, and I remember ringing Mats just to say get to the hospital, and then I woke up 3 days later. And I was angry because it didn't work.
Yeah, my auntie, she called me, and she went and told my uncle, and he came in. Bit freaked out, I think, too, and he asked me what I was doing, and then I just dropped on my knees and, sort of gave up. And he came and sort of picked me up and then and gave me a hug and said, I think you might have to go and see someone, eh, boy? Well, I ended up in a psychiatric ward that day. While I was in there, the doctor told me to look out of my room into the sort of open lounge area, and said, do you want to end up like the rest of these fellas out there? So I had a moment of clarity, and I don't want to end up like this. This is not how it's supposed to be. And they sort of really dug in deep to do what was necessary to get better.
You're scared of what people will think. You're scared of everyone. You don't want to go into public. And then it was too much. I had another fight with my ex. And then I was prepared to do it again, but I didn't. On my way to doing what I had planned, I just heard a voice, you know. I went and sat at the urupa with one of my ex-students, which is my principal's daughter. And of all the people that were ringing me, family, I only replied to them because I knew they'd understand. They texted to say everyone was worried. They were worried. They had rung the police because they didn't know what to do.
At that point, I must have rung him 20 times, and my wife, Jenny, she would have rung him probably as many times. I went sort of looking for him, looking for his car, seeing if I could find him in some places that I thought he might be. Jenny was doing the same. And then eventually, and I don't know why, he answered her call. And he said that he was sitting at the cemetery with my daughter.
So the name of this urupa is Kauai. And we're sitting next to one of my ex-students, passed away, lost a battle to cancer. During the time I was a little bit lost in the separation with my ex, and I felt I had no one to talk to. Felt kind of like, you know, soon I'd end up in a place like this. I was the changing point. It was when I decided that I'd never let anyone hurt me again. You know, it was when I let it all go. Screamed at the top of my lungs, decided that this was it. That I had to make it on my own, and that I couldn't look back. I could only go forward. This is where I accepted a lot of things and just let everything out, all the emotion, all the hurt.
People are often surprised when I say that the day Tara died was not the worst day of my life. The day that I found out her prognosis and the kind of tumour she had, that was the worst day of my life. And that would be closely followed by the first day that we saw the tumour on the computer screen and realised that that was a really, really bad place to have a tumour right in the middle of her brain.
Do you want to come and play? Come and play with us.
There was a bunch of hard days when she was sick and suffering.
You read?
They were the hardest times, and seeing the other kids really upset, they were the hardest times.
So hang on, we need the timer. Okay, ready?
I suffered from anxiety for quite a long time after she passed. Didn't want to answer the telephone at work, just in case there was a problem that I wasn't ready to cope with, kind of thing. Is it a packet of chips? I'm sorry, I'm not very smart. What are you drawing? That's pretty well past now. I had a really good conversation with my oldest daughter, Hannah, about why we were filming this, and she wasn't really aware that I had suffered from depression. I mean, she was probably aware of my mood or how flat I was at the time, but she wouldn't have known what sort of label to put on that. In the kids category. Yeah. Now, a few years on, 3 years on, I know that I'm not all healed and I never will be, but I don't suffer from depression now. Shall we sing that song that Matetu and Whare taught us that we're going to sing at your auntie's wedding?
Yeah.
Okay. I don't have really low moods. I don't have uncontrollable emotion swings for no reason that I was having, you know, throughout her illness and the months afterwards. So beautiful. My connection with Whare and Mats has been a real positive in each of our kind of stories. They've got a much closer kind of brotherly relationship, the two of them, which they've shared, you know, since they were kids. That real close relationship is really important to them. I know that.
So when I went to drug and alcohol rehab, that's where I started to learn the things that were going to get me better. I started to learn and understand what was wrong.
Oh, this will be lunch.
Oh, that's morning tea. And then when I came back after that year, I got home and actually felt strong enough to live here. Masterchef. Within amongst my hapu, and not need to drink and do drugs. I was a little bit stronger and be able to do that. And got into the mix of things. I started to learn that I wasn't that bad person that I had come to believe. And I could change that with the help of other people. Padlock, bro. Padlock.
Any greens?
You don't need greens, eh?
Yes.
You look at it on your plate.
Spinach, what's the other? Silver seed, silver beet.
Silver seed tea, that you don't even have a name, bro.
Bread. There was a lot of people that were there for me, but I didn't realise how much I meant to others. There was a lot of people that, turned up, but, you know, you don't sort of think about all that. I needed to be a better person because of the field that I work in. Oh, did we put some potatoes in? You know, you can't be that sort of person and work with children. So I had to, one, change my ahua and how I was thinking, not just for myself, for my own, you know, 2 children, and then for what I do in work.
Me and work out at the gym, man.
Get my paper rubbery, eh? This is where I would come quality time with my grandmother and my koro. Yeah, so I've always kept being in touch with this whenua. So to me, this is Ohorongo Bay, Tarawera. Yeah, this is our little hidden away paradise. Like to think of myself as a positive role model for these kids. Humorous, like to make them think that they can come out of their shells and be themselves and aim for the skies, reach for the stars, be anything they want to be. And it's my job to try and make them succeed and feel that they're capable of doing that. So this is my boy Whetu, my daughter Danica. Whetu's 8 and Danica's 12. These are my 2 little kids, my munchkins. I love them. I love them to death. I love singing, I love kapaka, playing the guitar with these kids. And the kids are building their confidence and they're achieving, you know. And I do everything I can for them. 100. So I've been involved with the school for approximately 6-7 years. I've got 22 in my class. They're the senior school of Horohoro. They range from 10 to 12 years old, year 6 to year 12. They're a great bunch of kids. So the first thing we're going to do this morning is we're going to do a bit of writing, okay? Yeah! I feel that they've now got someone that cares for them and is in front of them every day wanting to do the best. They're doing a lot for them. Whaia e koe te iti kahurangi ki te tūohu koe me he maunga teitei. Well, what I went through, you know, knowing what I know now, it's you don't want anyone to sort of go through that, and being able to feel comfortable enough to talk to someone is really important. I really emphasise to my children, you know, that if they need to talk to me, if they have any concerns, anything, doesn't matter what it is, even if it's a little niggle, that they are welcome to come and talk to me about it. We've got a really close bond relationship. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 2. Go, run. Hey.
I work for the Bay Plenty District Health Board, part of the mental health and addictions team and regional Māori health. You know, I'm situated in the courthouse and I do drug and alcohol assessments for the court. Started out as a pilot and then, they made it full time. Hardest part about my job is sitting there day in, day out, listening to our people getting locked up, our people going away, families getting torn apart. I know that it's part of the job. People do naughty things sometimes and they go to jail, but it's not easy to sit there day in, day out and watch that with your own eyes. My MO in life really, being on the kaupapa, just trying to help other people if I can. Get lots of call-outs, lots of off-the-book stuff to help my whānau members. If I can help them out, then I will. Something I'm getting used to, learning how to do things a bit more balanced.
Oh, we're late. I told you to wait.
Well, this fella rang up and they said, bro, I've entered us into this competition. It's an 8-week challenge at the gym. You're on the team. And I didn't really have much of a choice.
1001, 1002, 1003.
And I think it was actually a good thing for me because usually if I think about losing weight and all that, I wait for the motivation and start trying to get excited to get into it, and it lasts about 3 days and then we'll start watching TV. But I'm still going. I haven't missed a session yet.
1, 2. We're the muscliest there, anyway, but
I must be the heaviest in our class, though. Yeah. Because these airfoils are skinny.
Yeah, I'm tired.
You're tired?
Yeah. Like, straight up, for years, me and this fella have been talking about, that's us, get abs. If we had started when we first were talking about it like 20 years ago, we would be abbed up, ripped up. All it's ever been is a conversation, so it needed someone to actually do it, put it on paper, get us there, and do it. Well, hopefully it gets easier.
Probably be easy by the time we finish. Yeah! Let's call it one.
So how much do you weigh then?
I'm not saying that on TV.
Because it's been a little while since I've had my experiences, I've learnt from that. I've learnt the, I've got a lot of learning out of it, and learning how to do things differently. Just trying to do things on a daily basis to make sure you don't end up in a situation like that. And I suppose that's the same for you fellas too.
At the end of the day, we're still blokes and we still give each other heaps and hassle each other at the gym and or in general and in real life and at school and whatever else. But it's just about knowing actually that Whare knows that if he was really struggling, that he can trust me.
He's always willing to, okay, what do we need to do? How can I help? You know, these two guys, you know, are probably the only ones I open up to because they've, you know, in the past they've moved mountains to put me where I am today.
Well, anyway, for me, I get to deepen my respect for these fellas, learning to appreciate them in other ways, and what they do and what they do for their families and all that.
To show some strong Māori men doing that and talking about that, it's good as a you know, middle class white professional to do the same thing, but you know, sitting alongside you guys and say, you know, we've all come from different places, but we've been through similar things and we've done similar things to kind of work through it.
I think if I can help in any way I can, I try to. I feel it's my responsibility too, having had the experiences I've had and being able to come out on the other side. I don't know, if I can give hope to someone that they can get well, I live a pretty cool life, I think.
When people do ask you for help, you have to take them seriously. Don't just say, oh, yeah, oh, okay, bro, or oh, what should I do? You have to take it seriously because you only get one chance. And if that chance is lost, you're gonna wish like hell that you had listened. If ever I need any advice or guidance, you know, he's probably one of the closest people I can go to. I just got a big heart, care for each other. Yeah.
He's always there, always got my back. I'd like to say that I have his back, but I know whenever he needs anything or if he asks, you know, I'm always there. Oh, speechless, okay? Just, yeah, one of a kind.
Brothers.
One of a kind.
Attitude was made with funding from New Zealand On Air.